Is smoking cigarettes a sin? Well, smoking cigarettes certainly isn't healthy for you, and I'm not recommending that anyone smoke cigarettes. But does smoking cigarettes make someone morally impure? I want to read something that Jesus said from Mark chapter 7 that will help us answer this question. Starting in verse 14, Jesus said, "Listen to me, everyone, and understand this. Nothing outside a person can defile them by going into them. Rather, it is what comes out of a person that defiles them." After he had left the crowd and entered the house, his disciples asked him about this parable. "Are you so dull?" he asked. "Don't you see that nothing that enters the person from the outside can defile them? For it doesn't go into their heart, but into their stomach, and then out of the body." In saying this, Jesus declared all foods clean. He went on, "What comes out of a person is what defiles them, for it is from within, out of a person's heart, that evil thoughts come: sexual immorality, theft, murder, adultery, greed, malice, deceit, lewdness, envy, slander, arrogance, and folly. All these evils come from inside and defile a person." So, although this passage is not specifically referring to smoking cigarettes, the idea that I get when I read this passage is that taking a puff and having smoke go into your body is not morally defiling. It is the things that are in our hearts that come out that are morally defiling. So, uh, just like Jesus said that the everything that God is desiring from humanity hangs on the idea of love, loving God and loving your neighbor. That is what it is, the heart that we can say is pure or not sinful, is a heart full of love. And all of these things that Jesus lists as corruptions are things that come out of our heart that are not loving. And so these are the things that we really need to watch out for. And the reason I'm making this video is one of my viewers asked me to make this video, and I know a lot of people who are good Christians, but they feel so ashamed because they are stuck in a habit of smoking cigarettes or vaping or something like that. And every time they do it, they're thinking, "I'm sinning against God. I've done this horrible thing and I need to stop." And they feel ashamed of themselves. They feel like a bad Christian because of their smoking habit. Well, you know what? Smoking is a bad habit and God can help you overcome it. In fact, I used to smoke cigarettes. For years, I was a cigarette smoker. I would think I was a pack a day smoker for several years. There's been various times when I was, had various levels of smoking and even chewing. I was chewing for a while. Anyway, that's in the past because God did help me overcome that bad habit. And I think if you're a Christian, it's certainly good to stay as healthy as you can, right? So that you can, have a good life and do the work that God has given you to do without a bunch of health problems that smoking gives you. But, my recommendation is to trust in the Lord to help you. And, as you're smoking that cigarette, say, "Lord, I know I'm still doing this habit, but I really need your help. Can you help me? Even though I'm doing it right now and I don't know how to stop." But you can ask the Lord to help you. And, I've been free from smoking for many years now. And so I know it is possible with the Lord's help. But at the same time, you don't have to beat yourself up and think that you're doing something morally impure every time you smoke a cigarette. Okay. In the same way that, people do things that may not be the healthiest for them, but, I don't think people are beating themselves up if they eat a piece of candy. There's no health value in a piece of candy, but it's something that they enjoy. And so it's not something that's morally impure in and of itself, right? And so, um, be healthy, seek to get free, but at the same time, don't beat yourself up because the Lord is not looking at you and saying, "Oh, that terrible smoking sinner." God is very pleased that you care about obeying him and doing what he desires. And so, you know, the greatest thing that Jesus wants us to pay attention to is what's happening in our heart, not what's happening with a puff of smoke. Okay, so I hope that's helpful to some people. And if you have a follow-on question or anything, then put it in the comments and I'll try to respond to that. God bless you. Take care.
His own self for heavenly